2021. I'm calling this special call meeting of the B County Commissioners. The time is 10:30. It is still May 10th, 2021. I'm calling the special call meeting of the B County Commissioners Court to order. We are physically located at the B County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas, 78102. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items: repairs and/or improvements to the B County Elections Building. Just by way of general introduction, and then I'll turn it over. This is your district, right?
It is.
Yes. So you want me to just turn it over now, or?
No, you can highlight. I mean,
there's several issues going on. The driving force for this being on the agenda this morning is that the air conditioning has gone out at the B County Elections Building just in time for summer, and that's something that we need to get fixed. As a component of fixing the AC, we've already received some quotes. I think Mr. Izagiri is going to touch on those briefly, but the turnaround time on that is a few weeks. So it raises the specter of and the discussion for us to talk about today of we've got a few weeks now where they have to get out of the building. Is now the time for us to start looking at making the other renovations to that building as well. Mr. Izagiri, do you have some information for us on AC, gutters, anything else?
AC, Johnny Sayer, B County Maintenance Supervisor. Looking at the AC for the elections building. I got a quote for Smeckles. I think I laid it on. We got it. Got it?
yeah, it's in the background.
Okay. I went to go look for other quotes from 3 other different vendors. None of them gotten back to me yet so far, so I really don't. I know All Seasons was they going to get me a quote. I went to go check my emails. I still haven't received a quote yet from them. So right now we just have Smeckles. The time frame is you're looking at 2 weeks, just because it's a custom order. The 7.5 ton unit, the condenser part, the outside part, they can get it. It's in stock, but it's just a coil that they're looking at. It's a special. It's a custom order. So you're looking at least 2 weeks for it to get here. So yeah, you're looking at a couple of weeks before they can, get them some AC.
So, but you have some other, requests for bids that should be coming back?
I'm hoping they are. Like I said, I haven't heard back from them. I don't know if they're just not interested or just, I know I'm waiting on All Seasons for sure. Country Air, I've left them messages to call me back. Agricola, the owner was out. He was supposed to come back today, get with me today. I still haven't heard from him today, so that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. I was checking with 2 survey companies, and man, I'm on a long list to get there. And the reason I say survey is that we're trying to find out where the boundary is on the north end of that building. So if we're going to run new plumbing lines, that maybe we wouldn't have to go underneath the building. We could go side and then alongside the building and then tap into the street. That would fix the plumbing problem, the bathroom problem. Still, I'm on a list of when they can get to us to get the corner boundaries. And I've looked. I think, John, you've looked for surveys, or you've looked for. We can't find anything in the county, right?
If you talk to Xander Surveying,
Mr. Xander wants to retire really bad.
right, but he's still surveying.
But he answers his phone.
Okay.
Yes, he has been one of my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about Richard?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to school with him.
Has anyone, I'm just asking the question, has anyone thought about doing a couple of mini splits in that building to take care of that? As far as, as far as cost and whatnot, would it be cheaper, or?
I haven't looked into that, but that 7.5 ton unit is the size that's needed to cool down.
So it's going to be 2 4 tons at least.
Mm-hmm.
And we're converting from, again, R22, we're converting
To the new refrigerator. And then the ducting's there, they're gonna use all the ducting and everything else, because that's still in good shape. But they're gonna use the existing ducting, remove the condensing unit outside, use the same heating coil.
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering if we do do some repair on the
Remodeling.
inside, if that doesn't affect the ducting. an added cost. If the ducting is good where it's at, and we can remodel in, so the repairs that need, not the remodel, but the repairs that have been requested, that's gonna cover that too also.
Well, the soft spots in the back, George said he could cut them out and reinforce the floor and put that back in. The doors will have to be reframed and put in, just like the windows, they're gonna have to be ordered. I mean, you can order windows to fit those cabinets there, just, they can, do a great
Custom
job.
built windows.
Right. And,
Could be, take one out, too, just rig it up.
Yeah,
They don't
take
need it.
one out, they don't need it.
That'd be up to them.
If they wanted windows, you can just get the size, and there are several window companies that'll make the size. You can just come over here, measure, and come in and pop it in.
Yeah, don't they have that company in Corpus that, they
Window
usually
World.
run specials, Window World runs
Window World.
specials on
Yeah, you're looking at about $400 to $500 per window.
so many windows for, you can check with them, they usually run a really good
The
special.
gutter guy,
The gutter guy, too, he
yeah, he
out
did
of the
the bid. We
blue.
got one bid for gutters, and the other one was a no bid. He just didn't want to come out and do it.
The gutter bid is sub 2,000.
Yeah, so it's $1,800,
Yeah, so, yeah,
$1,800
that's
$200.
Yeah.
When's our next commissioners court meeting? 24th of this month?
12:30 this afternoon.
What are they gonna, okay, so the ACs, what are the two employees gonna do in the meanwhile?
Well, so let's get to that. So, but first, so we really need to give the people that John's gone out to, give them an opportunity to get us some additional bids on the AC. We need to get something formal, as Mr. Cano's put together an actual proposal, or just some sort of written scope of work, on that. We've already got the gutter, saying we could actually take action on that, this morning, if that's the will of the Commissioners Court. Doors and windows, again, doors may be, something Mr. Cano does, windows could or could not be something that he does. We could get out in the next week or so, get
Or like-
some quotes and a better idea on
Commissioners
that.
gonna take them out?
Don't we have a quote? I know there was a quote turned in for the number 3 jail, for the automatic doors. That company could just go ahead and install
Yeah,
them.
maybe so, yeah, maybe so. And then,
We can do that.
And turn it correct.
and then, with respect to the employees, they've indicated a willingness or an ability to, set up shop in the expo center for a period of time. That we've also generally talked about or thought about, not in the formal setting, but, at least Laura and I have spoken, she's mentioned it to me, the, building right next to the elections office building, trying to enter into a short-term lease.
Yeah, she's called
for
for
that.
January.
Yeah, Mr. EA. I don't know if you have any recommendations one way or the other with those things.
We haven't set, she hasn't given us a set price on the exact amount that she can charge for, but I can get one.
Yeah.
How would it, I know Ms. Warnings couldn't be here this morning, Wally's not here.
She's watching.
Oh,
You
hi,
can
Ms.
speak to
Warnick.
her, and I'm checking for her text. Her introduction.
As far as like, removing them to the expo for a period of time, how would that work, John? Can you explain that?
We'd have to work around the schedule as far as whenever they have a bench going on out there. I know usually they're on the weekends, but sometimes they do have, some
Jury duty.
jury duties coming up on the 17th and the 24th, Mondays.
Would they be using the meeting room, or which?
Just that little office.
Yeah.
Just
The office,
A small one, yeah.
the meeting room.
Yeah.
Over by the kitchen, right?
Yes,
Correct.
yes. Yeah, and they can close the doors off to that. Have
Do they have other access
to the
outside the
outside.
building
Yes.
from there?
Yes, on the north side.
What type of a project would it be to relocate, their desks and the filing cabinets that they need and stuff?
Just give us a call, I mean, when they're ready, when the court decides to have them go, just give us some time to, you know, if we're not in the middle of a project, I mean, we can make it work somehow.
And we discussed this earlier, but the AC issue is really kind of driving the
Kind of,
ball
kind of
here.
pushed it.
I remember the comment being made that government is real good about kicking the can down the road.
kick it down the road, then when something happens, we gotta do it tomorrow, we're there.
Yeah.
Now, Commissioner Lenny and I both are willing to let them use our offices. I'm in maybe a couple of times a week checking the phones. I've got that outside office that all I have in there is a table and stuff. They're more than welcome to use mine, and Commissioner Lenny said his also, if that would help. The thing that they're gonna be looking at is their stuff.
Yeah.
They can't move that election stuff, it's gotta be secure. And so that's a problem.
And the equipment needs to be in a climatized
Yes.
environment. Because right now, our building right now is setting at about 85 to 87 degrees, just in the hallway. The room that's closed off without any ventilation, no windows, no nothing, it's up to 90 degrees plus, and that's the concern right now.
And if you get enough moisture in there, you've got problems with all that computer work.
Exactly.
So it needs to be done now.
Exactly, that's what we're asking to resolve.
We've got this number 3 jail, we keep saying just sheriff's office.
Where do we move that?
So that's secure over there and climate control at this point in time.
Is it?
Yes.
And with respect to that security equipment, you're not gonna need to access it.
No, sir,
At
no,
any
sir,
point
not
in
until
time.
the upcoming election in November.
So it could be moved into that room down there and locked up with the air conditioner on.
Correct.
This November?
The constitutional amendment is in
Oh, that's
November.
right, okay.
And then the primaries in the spring.
I think that's probably,
So we could store it at the jail.
And what about our security system?
You have a security system that monitors the
The
secure
equipment, the in
equipment.
and out, the coming and going
I'm
within
installed
the
in
room.
this.
That would have to go in as well.
What is that system?
Dynamore?
Dynamark, and Christina can handle anything, she can call Dynamark and make any arrangement needed.
We can get them
To move a camera over there or
to
something?
move it, is that all it is, the camera and a
Yeah,
lock?
she has a camera in the room and then a keypad at the door.
And if we're gonna move the equipment down
Yeah, but
there,
I thought we removed
it'd
all
be
the
almost as
electronic
easy to
stuff.
Well, I
let
think
3
they-
staff members move down there also for.
We don't have all the wires here.
Is there room?
The wires there.
The wires are still there.
Agreed.
I haven't been over there for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't been over there since they fixed the roof a couple of years ago.
No, we're talking about the one on Toledo Street, not the one over here.
In the-
The new old gym.
The new
The new old gym. We
Number
have so many
Number
gyms.
3. Number 3.
What other county can say they have 3 jails?
Oh, I don't know, figure out how that's
The
gonna
old,
work.
The old.
I know, very.
So you,
Oh,
you're talking about on Toledo Street, right?
Yeah.
The one that's across from Arden Nursing Home?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
sir. Laura's checking something right now.
The only thing on at that facility is the electricity, everything else is off,
Okay.
all the other utilities.
There's no water.
Laura states that if the equipment is moved and under a secure lock right now, that the cameras are not important at this time. The
That'd
main
be
thing
great.
is to have it, it's
That would be
climatized
great.
and.
And so they could work here at the courthouse, they would be secured over there.
Yeah.
Just the equipment can be secure.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, just be under lock and key.
She's looking at that.
They're gonna be like a
back, right?
giant
What we got to do is just switch out.
No, they just say this has to be.
Yeah, she said that the camera right now is not the important part, just as long as it's under secure lock and climatized.
So you would have a dual locking system there, you gotta go through the doors first, then you would have a lock going into that room,
Right,
whichever room y'all selected.
right.
We just have to go in there and change it out. Doorknobs, I guess, give them. Only
That
have
one
two
door.
to that.
That one door to that.
Yes, sir.
Now, during renovations or work on the floor, your desks and bookshelves and filing cabinets are gonna have to be moved anyway. There's not enough space because y'all's offices are already, if it was just, hey, we just need a place where they can set up their workstations, it would work, but otherwise, it doesn't really make sense.
They could put the stuff in storage that you need to store, and they can actually work from the office if they need to.
Yeah.
That just stays under lock and key, and no worry about it.
See, and here's the rest of that story. We need a time projection, and let's say we say it's gonna take 8 weeks, you better triple that.
Oh, yeah, just
at least triple it,
our recent experience.
yes. So,
We're
we're
gonna
talking
use the same
probably,
contractor, we'll be good.
Yeah.
we're talking 6 months, which puts into the November election.
Say it again, I'm sorry, I was reading the response from Laura.
When you're looking at a timeline on these repairs, I'm thinking it's gonna take 6 months. Like right now, we don't have firm bids or nobody started the construction.
Right,
So that puts you into this November election.
right, right.
So where can you go that you can still hold an election?
To the expo. The expo.
But the expo, the problem there is,
If they're split. We would have to keep them separate. Right now, she says the room that we previously selected for the equipment is the one that we would actually use ourselves. I'm not
At the expo?
sure,
No.
I'm assuming.
Jail,
okay, the sheriff's office.
sheriff's office,
On
Oh,
Toledo,
sheriff's
number
office.
3.
Oh, you could.
the old new jail. The new old
How
jail.
long has the water been turned off there, water and sewer?
A few months, so I don't know exactly.
No, it hasn't been that long
It-
because the
it-
water
it-
was.
Let me tell you,
COVID, they were
The water was
using the
still
restroom.
working.
when I was in there about, 2 weeks ago, it was on.
Right.
Hmm.
It was on.
3 weeks ago.
Well, I thought you told, I thought everything was off.
No, actually, the last time that I went in there with, Veronica, they actually had to close one of the valves because something was leaking. The water's been running.
It's still on.
The water's still on.
Good, so we have water, sewer, electricity. Doors
Secure,
work,
secure area.
removes the complication of coordinating at the expo.
Yes.
I presume that's a good thing? Okay, Andy shaking her head a lot. And the price is right as far as rent. I'll talk to you, Ms. Warnick, offline about that.
She did state that we could put everything within the expo center. At this point, she thinks that the meeting room in the expo is a good option. And, that way that the equipment would remain with us.
Oh, so you could lock the equipment in the same
That's what
office
she's
space
stating, yeah.
where
Yes,
you work?
yes.
So everything can be moved out to the expo.
No, why?
Absolutely, yes.
Talk to me.
That or the sheriff.
The reason I'm saying no on the expo is because if they have any bids, they use that side office that they're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
to change or to put decorations.
Oh,
boxes.
that's
Or to run
right,
buffets.
yeah,
And then-
right, for like.
Yeah,
empty
you're gonna have
noses
to
and
move it
stuff,
out.
prepare before
Run
the-
buffets, everything else.
I'm sorry,
No, thank you, Jesse.
that is a good point. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll go talk to George when I get out.
And the thing of it is, temporarily moving out there, we don't need to move walls, paint, anything else. Just move in.
You're talking about Toledo Street.
Yes.
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 Mr. Easterry, what do you think?
Like, wherever y'all think.
Oh, you don't wanna ask him what he
Yeah, you don't really wanna ask
See,
him what he
because
thinks, so.
you and Road and Bridge are gonna be involved in shuttling this stuff around.
We might ought to have Ray in the room too, to ask him.
Too late, right?
I know.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're not
Oh.
at a meeting, huh, Chris?
Yeah, you get volunteers and stuff.
I thought that was a great opportunity
You
for
guys
you.
like this podcast in the room?
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, we got 20 seconds.
Welcome to our world.
I was here.
Yeah,
I was in.
I was.
When I called the commission, somebody said, hey, my, patient.
We were about to select the committee,
Big
so I
stuff,
said,
so,
take
you know, I
your
could be a.
I guess the thing that got me was the laugh I got when I was told that I was.
The laugh. You can't help it.
I couldn't help it.
You can't help it.
I think you had to be sitting
Wait,
there because he
but-
was bouncing around.
But I was here,
You were?
and I still got chosen.
Wait.
And Grace too,
Wait
she
till
was
you read the
here.
minutes.
I need to interject, Laura stated that the meeting rooms are not included within the rentals per Wally,
Oh, okay.
so
Whichever
But does she have a preference between the expo and Toledo?
let me
That's
ask.
what I was gonna say, because I know that meeting room, it's just there. People do use it, but it's not included Cause they got that back part of the stage.
Yeah, they have
where
the
they've
back
got-
part of the stage.
Yeah.
They've got the dressing rooms back there, you've got men's dressing
And then
rooms.
there's-
And
then
then
of
of
course-
course, separate, you can close the doors, and that's where.
Yeah, and it should be
And
like
then off
that.
to the side, there's
because
that
it
one
shouldn't
meeting
be
room,
used.
and I remember we held roundup, Governor Abbott came in that one little room that we all met in. So there is a separate
She
room.
thinks her preference is expo
Really? Okay.
for
We can
temporary.
lock the meeting room, it's got the 2 doors that lock, and we've got the keys to that and the key to the outside.
And if there's something going on, y'all can get a key to.
But if anybody
the
needs
north
to use
end.
it as far as directing and stuff, they've got, like I said,
Other-
behind the stage, they've
Yeah.
got,
Right,
that's what
behind
that
your
is used for,
bathroom.
that's supposed to be
Yes, sir.
used for.
What about access, like, on Tuesday mornings, the gates open at 8, or?
Yes.
But you
Y'all
could give
start
them the
at 8?
code.
Yeah,
Well, we can give them the code, they got a gate code,
Oh,
it's just a
yeah.
gate code, they can go in there anytime they want. It's open to them, once we give them the code, they can go in whenever they
And
want to go in.
there's
No,
cameras up there?
No, sir.
Yeah. She said that we already have a key to the outside door of that meeting room.
Oh, that's good to know, we're gonna have to collect that from her, is there anything?
Yeah.
You might ought to tell her to quit texting.
I know. She said, no way.
Stop texting.
She should not.
You're losing ground.
All right.
Tell my son, put the shovel down.
So we can, theoretically, if the spirit moves any commissioners, we can, go ahead and provide authorization to temporarily relocate the elections administrator's office, and then we can, when we break, we can start getting, quotes. Commissioner Fedius will assist with that.
I'll get on it again.
Any other commissioner that wants to help too, and work with, Mr. Ezagiddy, and, it's the 10th, so 14 days, I mean, I think that's an adequate time, don't you think, to get all of our quotes together, or should we try to set a special meeting before then? My apologies.
Oh, lunch.
Oh, is that what happened?
He's at barbecue, buddy.
I guess, I mean, I'll get up with the contractor. If we could find out where the boundary is, or, I mean, I don't know, what are the survey, I guess I'll call Mr. Sanders again, see if we can get him down. Because one of the suggestions was,
How about Tom Dawson?
Sandra and Abby,
No, he's
I haven't called them, Ray gave me, Ray gave me Abby and King out of
Here's
Sitton.
the thought, if you ask Jane your age, since she bought
I
it.
already called Jane and I left her, but, yeah, I don't think she got the
She
survey.
don't have a flat?
I talked to her, and I've got it.
I looked inside the auditor's office, and all they had was just square footage, they didn't have any part of
They
it.
said, they had 2
Yeah, and
keys,
if
they
you
can come alongside that,
Or
they
anything
can
like that.
go up the side, come down the side of that building.
We can look at the deed records and see maybe there's a survey in one of the prior transactions between the.
There has to be something when we
Terry's
built it, when they
Do
built
you know
the
what
building.
is that what
Yeah,
it is?
In a host of buildings, they had to have that to build that
No,
building.
he was already county building when he was supposed to renovate. They renovated the existing
So
county.
maybe there's something in the record.
County bill
Survey.
No, I think it was given to the county,
Okay.
and then it was designed by Hinojosa's wife, did the architectural, and it was redone for Hinojosa.
I'll call James, if I get through the court, I'll call her, see, she might have. But when I asked her before, she said, she didn't have.
Well, I know when you look in the county records, all it shows is that entire corner, but it doesn't give,
Okay,
it doesn't actually give
as far as the flat.
the marks.
And that was for the, that part.
Now, back to their situation, they need to get out of there now, because it's hot and that equipment needs to be moved, so whatever we do, I think we need to authorize them to do it ASAP.
Well, and temporarily, if they need to, I've got that little election room in my office, if they can transfer their phone, they can sit in there, and then I've got my vault as well, if we need to immediately move that equipment, we can temporarily put it in my vault.
I think maybe it might be able to get done today. To the expo, if the will of the commissioners court is to temporarily move them out, but thank you so much, and that might be a solution. You're talking about the bullpen, oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Because right now, we're in the office from 8 to about 10:30, and then we're transferring our calls, and we have laptops that we're able to perform work at home, remotely if needed.
I just didn't want y'all burning us.
No, I know, I appreciate
So what do we need to
that.
decide on?
We're open for whatever,
Okay.
you know.
Authorization to move it just immediately, and then get bids and get that building fixed.
then we might as well, since we have to redo the AC, we might as well solve the other issues. You know,
As soon as the quicker I get these quotes, the quicker it'll be to get that coil, that custom-made coil for that building.
So we only got one solid quote.
Solid quote, that's it.
so I'd entertain a
But I'll make-
motion to temporarily relocate the D County Elections Office from their current facility, to the D County Expo Center, side office, I don't know what you call it. Meeting room.
So,
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Is there any other action that we need to take at this time with respect to this agenda item?
Is there anything else on y'all's end that needs to be done today?
Right now, everything seems to be in the works for all of the issues that need to be taken care of.
Because I think, unless I'm reading everything wrong, y'all's equipment can be out there today and tomorrow. It can already be out there.
Okay.
And then y'all, whatever y'all need to take and start operating out of that.
Yeah, definitely, we can prioritize the election equipment.
Absolutely.
Have to have IT maybe go look up phones or something for them out there.
Oh, that's probably needs to be, authorize IT to do whatever's necessary there.
Okay, just make it cautious.
make a motion that we get IT to go out to the expo and hook up their phones or whatever lines necessary.
Second.
Yeah, motion and second, any further discussion on that agenda item? Or that motion?
Is that the way to couch it, John?
Yes.
Okay.
There it is. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, IT. Thank you, ladies, for being here. And I'm sorry that you've been working under the heat. I know last week was a little uncomfortable for you, so.
Let me close that.
Hopefully it'll get a little bit better.
The thing that can happen, let's say construction doesn't happen as quickly as we think, y'all can operate out of there for the next election, can't you, out of the Coliseum?
Yes, and that's what Laura said, that we would have Wally hold the date, and that there will be no split election, and the only time that that would be an issue was during a primary. And the primary is not slotted until, a year from now, so hopefully everything's.
And I think the primary got pushed almost 2 months.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not set.
yeah, and she says that the phones will automatically transfer, right now it is, and thank you, Commissioners and Judge.
Excellent. Is there anything further on this agenda item? Thank you all for everything you did. Thank you, Ms. Warner.
No.
Wow.
Barbara, you hadn't got here yet.
Everybody's eager.
I'm waiting.
No.
I enjoyed my time with y'all.
We appreciate it, too.
Agenda item number 3, we're going to pass on the area partnership update given by Randy Seitz, President and CEO. It'll be on a later agenda. Agenda item number 4, B area partnership investor agreement, we're going to pass on. That'll be on a later agenda as well. Moving on, agenda item number 5, review and take possible action regarding B County Human Resources policy regarding face coverings. This is Commissioner Linney's item. Commissioner Linney, you have the floor, sir. Yes, sir. You can.
I move to make motion to rescind the policy of mandatory face coverings for all county personnel and elected officials effective immediately.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'd like to talk about it a little bit.
Please, go ahead.
Looking at the numbers, looking at the COVID numbers, in B County alone, there's less than 1%, actually like less than 0.02% of people active with COVID. Looking at the Texas Roundup we had back in March, you have over 500 people together there, less than 5% were wearing masks, no reports of COVID. I know I talked to the pharmacists at Walmart, and when they open a vial to give a vaccination, I think there's 10 shots per vial, and they were having people just, kind of like the hospital was now at the Coliseum. And they said now they open up a vial, give shots, they're having to put over the intercom, like, please, if you haven't come, it's a waste if they don't get the 10 in. CDC, this is what's kind of crazy. CDC is, they've made it okay for, in the classroom, for kids to be 3 foot apart, but the working adults 6 foot apart. I mean, come on. And then there's just a lot of county employees that are ready to take them off. And if you want to wear them, by all means, you have every right to continue wearing them and do so. But, I feel that it's time to, take this off.
Thank you. Any other, discussion?
So gonna have to be a policy change that go along with it?
Yeah, so we do have to change the policy, revert it back. Talk to us a little bit about that, Mr. Castillo.
Basically, I don't know if we're talking about just removing the mask policy.
Yes.
Okay, then it disappears. My question is, then there's nothing actually stating that employees have an option. It's just like it never happened if we just remove the mask policy. We don't have any notification anywhere in our policies in regards to masks other than that's what we created.
Is there a prohibition in our policy against, wearing a face covering or any other type of clothing that your supervisor or department head might object to?
No, we don't have anything in there. All we have is, dress and grooming issues. This is not part of that.
So,
All our mask information is all wrapped around that one policy.
so let me ask you this, Mr. Castillo, if we do away with that policy and, in my office, Andy shows up tomorrow with a mask, as the department head for my office, can I tell her she cannot wear a mask?
This is where
In our current policy, if we remove the mask, can I tell her you can't wear a mask, Andy, in my office?
in the current policy we have now,
When we remove if the commissioner's court votes to pull out the existing mask policy, can I dictate that no masks can be worn by my employees?
we can,
I can dictate that they wear a certain type of clothing to maintain a certain professionalism, that I'm pretty sure I could dictate that men cannot wear baseball caps or other headgear in my office when they're working for me at my direction.
Right.
Can I also force them and tell them, you cannot wear a mask? I do not want you to wear a mask in my office.
it comes down to, now, if the individual feels uncomfortable with it and still feels that they're maybe exposed, then you are gonna have a problem.
As a health issue?
Yes, sir. And it reverses the other way around too, because if, you want them to wear a mask, because if you're given the opportunity to tell them no mask, that individual has the opportunity to say, yes, you all are wearing masks. This goes both ways. But either way, there has to be reasonable accommodations for religious objections and disabilities.
But this isn't a disability, right? The only reason I'm asking, and the only reason I'm trying to get to a point is, do we need to craft a little policy that says a supervisor cannot require one of their employees to wear or not to wear a mask, that is the option of the employee, because I think that's
Yes, and that's what I'm hoping y'all get to too, something that says, it's an optional thing for the employee.
By each individual.
Yes,
Okay.
by each individual, because then even if.
Not by the
That way,
department head,
if
but by
somebody
the
doesn't feel
employee.
comfortable,
Individual
they can
option.
wear it.
Yes.
Right, but you can't tell them.
Because
That's right, that's what I'm trying to
Because
get.
even if and that means even if the department head wants them to, you kind of, it's just that, hey, it's up to the individual, and that department head has to kind of live with that or work with that.
Should he change amendment?
I think it'd be probably easiest just if the spirit moves you to it, and if you're willing to do that, to amend the motion to rescind the existing policy and to replace it with language that provides all our employees their own independent option to wear a mask or not wear a mask when they're working for county.
Sure. I'll amend my motion to,
Do just that.
break, yes.
Or what he said.
I do, the courts fall under the same rules, like if those judges want
No,
people with.
courts are subject to the OCA, like the Office of Court Administration, and Office of Court Administration rules will control over county policy with respect to courtroom activities.
Okay. As long as everybody's aware, then we're good.
Madam Clerk, would you read back the motion, please?
I can't repeat what he said. We're gonna remove the mask for the,
The motion, I believe, if I stated it correctly. Yeah, if you want to just go.
I'll amend my motion to to rescind the policy of mandatory face coverings for all county personnel and elected officials, effective immediately, and every county official and personnel have their own choice whether to wear a mask or not to wear a mask.
And we're gonna call it individual option.
Okay, individual option.
Yeah, discretion.
Those are all good words. Did you get it, Hope?
Yes, I did. I believe I did.
Words right there, they're all litigation words.
They are. So now would you read it back again? Please.
Rescind policy for county personnel to have choice, individual option to wear the mask.
Okay, we're
Over there.
rescinding the mandating mask policy.
Right.
We have an amended motion, we have an amended
Got it.
second.
Also,
Excellent.
basically what we're doing, it's not required anymore, but it's an individual option,
Correct.
period, for personnel and elected officials. That includes hourly, monthly, everybody that works for Beacon County.
Yes, sir.
And I guess we make sure nobody discriminates against the other, because one does and one doesn't. That does become issues.
I cross that bridge when we get to it, obviously.
Yeah, because it's a policy, so,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a good point. Yes, sir?
Immediately,
Yes, sir.
that was his motion.
If it passes,
If it passes.
I haven't.
I'm not sure. Leave it on.
Everybody's so weak. No, is there any further discussion? I think it's a great idea, especially in light of us still maintaining the check-in stations for a period of time. It'll give us, again, sort of a way to smoothly transition back to pre-COVID days. Thank you, Commissioner Lenny, for your time and effort putting this together. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
The motion passes 4-1. Is there any other action items on this agenda item? Sorry, any other action on this agenda item? Hearing none, we'll move on. There are no executive session items today on this agenda either. You are welcome. And moving on, agenda item number 6, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank y'all for your patience today and your insight. Really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you, Commissioners.
This is only the back room only, it's 475. How much weight?